What's up guys, Ash here with Mosko Moto, and I am here to introduce to you the new Pico Tank Bag. Yes, there are two of them. We'll get back to that in just a second, but first I just want to say I'm really excited to introduce this new product update that we've worked on. The Pico's been in circulation for about 2 years, and it's been a really popular tank bag, especially for the smaller bike crowd and people who just really don't like tank bags at all, but have trouble finding a place to put all of those smaller items that you end up shoving into your pocket. So we'll do a small comparison to the old Pico just to talk about a couple of noteworthy changes and then a general product overview. If you're curious about how to mount this guy to your bike, there's a separate video which I'll link to in the description below that shows how to use the universal mounting system that we use on all of our tank bags. So check that out. Okay, let's dig into it. Okay, so arguably the most exciting and noteworthy change with this new Pico tank bag is the introduction of colorways. This is the very first product that we've been able to introduce different colorway options on, and now we have a gray as well as a black option available. So that's super cool. Another notable change here on the front when comparing the two tank bags, and I don't want to spend a ton of time comparing between the old and the new, but I will mention a couple of changes that we made. So now we have a Hypalon Molly panel here on the front. It used to be a clear cell phone pocket, which in practicality, it was actually quite difficult to slide your cell phone in and out. Now I kind of recommend using this pocket for carrying things like spare cash or your wallet if you have a slim, thin wallet that you like to use on motorcycle trips, or bike documents. That's another great thing to carry in that pocket. Anyway, so that's great for other items. Some small cell phones will fit in there easily, but with mine and many others, it was a difficult fit. So we eliminated that cell phone pocket that was built into the Pico, but we have introduced a cell phone pocket that's compatible with the tank bag as well as the rest of our tank bags. I'll link to this product and the video introducing the Navigator separately, but just to give you a little preview of what it looks like. This is what it would look like if you had the Navigator mounted to the top of your Pico tank bag. It's a much more functional way to carry your cell phone, especially if you're utilizing it for GPS abilities. If you're navigating your entire trip using the cell phone, I've found this to be an absolute necessity. I love this product. I'm so excited about it. So check out that video. It mounts really easily to the top of the tank bag. So this also allows you to carry extra things on the top like a knife or other utility items that are MOLLE compatible. So that's a really neat upgrade to the bag. Another that I'll mention here really quick before we dive into the product overview is the zipper change. So anyone who's owned the previous version of the Pico knows that it requires a bit of maintenance on that zipper, using chapstick or wax or something like that to keep it lubricated. We've now changed this zipper out to a YKK AquaGuard Vislon zipper. This is just about the best water repellent zipper that money can buy. You'll find this zipper everywhere on our apparel. So if that gives you any hint as to how good it is, you can also check it out online. There's a lot of information about this zipper. So we think that's a huge improvement as well. Now I'll kind of dig into the rest of the product overview and who the Pico is right for. Mounting instructions will be in a separate video also linked in the product description. But let's dig into the product itself. Okay, so when it comes to a general product overview for the Pico tank bag, I think that it's probably best and safest to say that this is absolutely the tank bag for people who don't like tank bags. If you're up on the pegs riding aggressively most of the time and you just hate stuff being up in your junk or touching you in the way, this is the tank bag for you. If you mount it really, really close to your bars, almost even touching the bars themselves, you will not notice this thing at all. I ride with it even sometimes on pretty aggressive single track on my KTM 250, and I do not have any trouble with it whatsoever. So smaller bike crowd or people who don't like tank bags, check it out. So we've already talked a little bit about the zipper having been changed from the previous version of the tank bag, but I just want to reiterate how easy this is to use. We've also introduced a new zipper pull that's really, really handy for if you do happen to have gloves on. So that's great. The Pico itself, when you open it up, it's a pretty simple tank bag. There's not a whole lot to it. We've got a little clip inside to connect your keys to make sure you don't lose those. Super important item. The next thing that I'll mention here is there's actually an internal divider that comes Velcroed to the bottom of the tank bag. If you pull that out and turn it upside down, This is an optional piece of organization. So since there's not a whole lot to this tank bag, we added the divider. That way you can separate some items within your tank bag if you so choose. I personally don't usually use it because I don't put a whole lot in this tank bag, to be honest, and everything that I need kind of stays organized the way that it is. There are also a couple of elastic pieces here along the sidewalls of the tank bag, and that's for if you have something that needs to stay upright. Let's say if you have contacts that you're carrying with you on the bike and your contact solution needs to keep them hydrated throughout the day and needs to stay in the upright position, you can just slide that right into the elastic strap. Another great thing to carry there would be like an extra SD card for your camera. Just slip that right into the elastic, and as you can see, it'll stay perfectly organized. So the one internal pocket on the Pico tank bag is right here on the lid. So if you look at the inside of the lid, you'll notice there's a flap right there. This used to be the cell phone pocket, as I mentioned earlier in the video, but it's a great place to put cash that you might, if you might be going onto a ferry, or maybe you're crossing a toll bridge, something like that. It's nice to have cash on quick draw. Or if you have a thin wallet, this is the wallet that I carry most every day, and especially on motorcycle trips, and that'll just shove right inside of the pocket as well. I forgot to mention that we give the Pico about a 1 liter capacity size. Okay guys, so that's about it for the Pico tank bag. Not a whole lot to cover with this guy. It's pretty simple. There are a couple of points that I didn't make earlier in the video that I would just like to mention before we sign off here. Number one, this tank bag is waterproof. It doesn't require a rain cover or anything of the sort. When it comes to being submersible, no tank bag is going to cover you when you fully submerge the bike underwater. But if you happen to tip over in a creek or something like that, it's probably going to keep you covered. So you're good to go. The second thing is that although I've mentioned this bag being perfect on a lot of the smaller bikes, it works on a variety of different motorcycles. I've seen this thing installed on everything from a 1200 GS down to a 150 that I just rode in Southeast Asia. If you do have any questions or comments, please let us know below, or hit us up with an email at moskomoto@moskomoto.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. Cheers.